So Final Fantasy Resonance came out, or was announced recently, and I'm a big Final Fantasy super fan, or it used to be anyway, I should say. It's my favorite series, at least nostalgia wise. And I've really kind of disappointed in the direction. I'm also excited. So it's like a 50-50 thing. So I was like, I'm excited there's a new Final Fantasy, but at the same time, it's not what I want from a Final Fantasy exactly. And that's because it's a 2D game. And I grew up, I mean, Final Fantasy IX was my first and my favorite game of all time, not just in the series, but it's my favorite game of all time. So I really resonate with the 3D games, even though 6 is my third favorite Final Fantasy after 7 and 9. So nine's my favorite, seven's my second favorite, and then 6. And I love 6. It does a lot for 2D, but if it was 3D, it would be so much more. It would probably be my favorite, or at least it would be up there, or like it would be a little bit closer of a gap between 7 and 6. I love 4, but I love the 3D version better. See, even something like that, like I love the 3D versions of 3 and 4, and I will play them. And I won't. Even, I haven't. Even, I'm not even interested in the pixel remasters because it's like I've already played the superior version in my head. And a lot of people say those are horrible ports or whatever. And I'm like, some people complain about the difficulty. I played it on hard mode. That was some of the best. That was the best experience in the entire Final Fantasy at all. Like gameplay wise, that was the best experience because it was the perfect difficulty. Like I really had to grind and strategize in every single fight, and it was beautiful. And it really just like made you do things the right way. It was just perfect. So I really wish they would have a hard mode in all the Final Fantasies because like games like Final Fantasy 16, especially 15, oh my god. 15 you couldn't even die. There was no challenge at all. Like literally as long as you had potions and it was very cheap, you can have infinite lives basically. That's basically what it was like. It was like you had a potion, you had another life. You get 99 potions, which there was like super cheap, like I said. You're good. You can pretty much do everything. You might not be able to fight like the super bosses right away, but you're not. But you couldn't discover them anyway. So, but yeah, that's just my gripe. I don't know how many people agree with me. I feel like it's probably one of my many hot takes, one of my many unpopular opinions, and people's all happy about turn-based coming back for Final Fantasy, which I'm happy about that. So it's like a 50-50 thing. I'm happy about it in a way, but I'm also disappointed that it's not exactly what I want. And I just resonate more for 3D. I can't say voice acting because they never get voice acting right, but they probably, like, I feel like this would be a chance for them to practice. And if they can get, more people to do good voice acting, like 16 had good voice acting, and 15 had good voice acting, and I didn't really, I guess, mind Triangle Strategy, and I finally played that and I finally got into that, and I loved the game eventually. The first 4 hours, I was ready to like put that game down for good because it was so like boring and way overdone with the politics. I was not expecting to like that game because I hate politics in Final Fantasy or fantasy politics. That's one reason I didn't really like 12's story that much. 12 I loved for the exploration and the just the amount of skills you had and the gameplay. It was so fun. And I really didn't like the Zodiac Age version because you could fast forward through the game and it just made it to where it was so easy and was so easy to grind. You could be so OP just doing normal attacks. And you didn't have to worry about doing anything else because it would be faster to do 4 times the speed do a normal attack than to actually put effort into having more like skills. The whole point of strategizing for a game like Final Fantasy when it's already easy is to make the battles shorter and more, utilizing your time better, so you don't have to worry about doing things the slow way. But with fast forward, you could just like zoom through that with just normal attacks, and you had gambits too, so you had that too. So it just made it to where it was like going through, and if you have the ability right off, it's not like um you choose to do things, or you choose to make it harder for yourself. Like if it has a cheat code built in, I hate that because it's like it makes it feel like it's part of the game. But it's connected to L1, so it was like it's really integrated in the system. It's not like, let's just avoid sprinting the entire game, so you'll appreciate the world more. If you have an issue with like fast travel, which I used to have a issue with fast travel because I felt like I really wanted to get to know the world. I wanted to absorb the world, but eventually, with my full time job and all that, growing up and adulting, I realized that's just too much to ask, and I really just need to enjoy being in these little areas instead of going from point A to point B all over the map, because the maps are way too big. That's the way I'm playing Witcher. Is like I'm not. There's places where you'll get a fast travel point that you hadn't even been to when you get to Skellige, and it's like, even though I haven't gone point A to point B there yet, I'm just going to say screw it and just enjoy when I get there. I mean, it's nothing but sailing anyway. It's just I really want to feel like I'm getting there myself, and like I'm trying to put myself in Geralt's perspective, and yeah, I just go back to a simpler time when I played Grand Theft Auto 3, and the map was small enough to where you could just memorize the entire thing, and that's what I miss about open world games, is like being able to recognize it all, being able to go. You would be able to use your own directions without a map. And that would be great for a game like Morrowind if they brought back more old school. That's one reason I want to play Gothic, because they say it's like not hand holding. I don't know how hardcore it is, but Dreamcast guy mentioned, or somebody who reviewed it, I think it was Dreamcast guy, mentioned it's like Morrowind, where there's no hand holding. They give you very little direction, and you have to figure out where to go. And I love Kingdom Come Deliverance. I played that last year, and that's like up my alley. Where that's one thing I missed about Morrowind, and I didn't realize until I played it. I think like on the Xbox One, when I had the Xbox One, I downloaded Morrowind and replayed that to a certain point, but the gameplay is way too dated. But what I did love about the game, was the fact that it made you kind of like search for things, and you had to read the journal, and it was so immersive and awesome. And I was like, I wish they would bring this back instead of just telling you where everything is by GPS. It was like, dude, just directly telling you. There's a lot of times where I'll do that with The Witcher, where I will like put a shortcut to all my quests, because you can only see the world, the quest marker, when you have that quest active, and it's very annoying. It's one of the many flaws of The Witcher 3. And so I'll just go through all the quests, and like I'll mark it myself, so that way I could just, sometimes I have to search for it because it's like on the map, but it might be in a cave below, or it might be up top. You never know, so you have to kind of search it around a little bit, and it's kind of fun that way. But yeah, Final Fantasy, I prefer 3D because it's just, like I said, it's more, it connects with me emotionally more. The characters are a little more alive. I like the animations better. I like the way it looks. I like the exploration better in 3D. 2D just like feels small in like scale, It don't, it feels like like I'm playing a Game Boy game or something. They can be fun, like I said, Final Fantasy VI and all that, but it's like I would much prefer the 3D. If you imagine making your own version of a game, are you imagining making a 2D JRPG? Is that the best you got? And I mean, because we're getting older here. A lot of us are millennials. They say Final Fantasy fans are older. they're not getting new fans. So I'm assuming a lot of y'all are about my age or around, 30s, maybe even late 20s. But we're getting older, most of us, and like there's only so many Final Fantasies that can come out in our lifetime that we can play, and it just sucks that we can't get more, truly remarkable 3D adventures. And another gripe I have is, well, why isn't it called 17? I mean, it's a nitpick, but it's like we call 11 and 14, numbered entries, and it's like, why? But you can't call this one Final Fantasy 17 just because it's like small scale, but it's like, come on. But yeah, it's not really a big deal. It's just like one of those things where it's like, when you really think about it, it's like 14 was called 14 when it's not even a single player game. And this one's like the closest thing we've gotten to at least old school Final Fantasy like 5, 6. And it's like, just because it's like small scale now, but this is like this is what's really selling these days. Like Dragon Quest Remake 1 through 3 sold as much as Final Fantasy 16. So it's like, what's the point of putting all this budget in a Final Fantasy, making a AAA ass game if it's not going to sell like a turn based one? You know, oh, turn based games are dead, but yet Expedition 33, Baldur's Gate 3 sold well. Come on now. All right, guys. What do y'all guys think? Y'all agree with me? You just like 2D and you're fine with it? You're simpletons. All right, let me know.